I'm just tweeting it out on Twitter. Come join me live on YouTube for live streaming about stocks. Let's talk about Solo, Apple, and more. All right. So let's get that set, and let me get this set up here so I can see you guys in the chat. All right, I see we've got 4 people on so far. It's gonna be just a second, guys, while I come over. Do you like my attire today? I am trading in the bathrobe. Friday afternoon, I set up a little spa in the background. Hey, Asif. Hey, Michael. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. If you guys are new to my channel, new to me, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you will know when I go live for the live streams. I do have to tweet it out, right? What do you mean, LOL, really? Yeah, I'm really in the bathrobe. It's been, hi, good morning, Dea. What other job in the world can you trade from your bathrobe and rock the market, right? What other job? You don't have to get dressed up. Hey, good morning, Rodolfo. You don't really have to. Today I took a chill day, spa day, relax. Good morning, Leslie. All right, so let's look at the SPY. What do we have going on with the SPY? Well, right now, shorter time frame, it looks on the 15-minute chart, maybe we could be setting up for cup and handle, but that failed, right? We set more like a double top over here. I'm going to turn it to my favorite 45 minutes. And I've got these green lines. These are volume weighted average prices. This is the anchored volume weighted average price set up by Brian Shannon. So for some reason, actually, I still have ones over here that I don't need. It didn't transfer over. So we are below pretty much all of them, including yesterday's anchor VWAP. So yesterday's anchored V, or 2 days ago, is right here, and we are below that. So any of the days that are up here that you do not see, I've taken off because we're already below all of those anchored VWAPs. Where is the top one that we're looking to test? It's right here, right? Actually, now we're below that one. Let me go ahead and take that one away, right? We don't need that one. Next one that keeps bouncing as support is right here. This is going back to this day, November 5th, after, right in the middle of the jump up, right? Just above that 350 point. So if we start breaking down below this, we could very well break down further, test that 350 over here, likely test the 21 EMA, that's 350.54, and then pull back down further. I did show you guys the Hindenburg indicator, not showing any indications yet of having a big, massive market drop, but you never know, right? I also wanted to show you guys something that is very cool. If you guys are joining me, make sure you hit the like button, please. Is this right here, Whale Wisdom. So let's go and look at Apple, right? Everybody's like, oh my goodness, Apple, it's amazing. This is a stock that so many people want to get in on. I missed the run before the split. Well, this site will show you 13F and 13G. What is 13F and 13G? Those are the SEC filings that, D, F, and G. Those are the filings that the institutions have to fill out when they are changing a position in their hedge fund, anything like that. So when we go down further, you can see, all right, 13F, they also have active 13D and 13G filings. I can't look at that. I just discovered it today. So obviously I would have, I could sign up for free, but okay, haven't done that yet. So I got curious, right? You know me, I'm a researcher. I like to look into the details of things. I like to see what's happening. So this is pretty cool because you can see what is happening with the institutions. Okay, well, there's these little ones, but look at the source date. This all happened September 30th. And this is the change in shares. So really, people could be adding because they think that it's going to go up And yes, this asset wealth management, yes, they added. However, let's see who sold, right? I want to know where could they possibly be putting their money. And then you can also go and look at the fund. All right, where, yeah, you can sort of see it. Now, remember, this is reported roughly 6 weeks later. So you might be delayed in the price action. But here we go. The biggest people to liquidate positions for this is Facebook? Am I on Facebook? Excuse me. I want to go to Apple. Sorry, guys. I just realized when I saw Zuckerberg's name that all of a sudden I was on Facebook. So let's go to Apple, right? Apple, sorry about that. I hit the wrong one. So here we have the change in shares. Oh my goodness. Look at State Street. They sold 36 million shares, 3.8% ownership as of September 30th. But it was reported 11/10, right? So much like short interest, this is 6 weeks late. However, it could still be useful to see, all right, where, they were I don't know what the ranking is. Like I said, I haven't seen, and I'm curious to know who's in State Street Capital, that sort of stuff, these managers as well. As soon as I start finding stuff in the world of the stock market, I start to dig and look and research a little bit more. So we see, okay, Goldman Sachs took off some. We have Berkshire Hathaway. We see that, you know what? Warren Buffett's trimming some of his position. Vanguard is trimming their position. BlackRock. So it's interesting to see all of these positions, right? Is there anybody that sold more? Okay, so Sanders Capital right here. Yes. Yes. Oh my God, Illuminate. It is live. You got it. How are you doing today? Make sure you hit the like button. So you guys can check this out. I just discovered it today at whalewisdom.com. And it'll show you, these are all public forms as well. So remember that. These are SEC filings. They're public forms. And this just organizes it for you so you can sort it fairly quickly in a spreadsheet form. And something to take note of is like this one right here. Sanders Capital. How many shares did they hold? 14 million. Well, they sold 18 million. Someone asked me this question too. How could they sell more than they own? Does anybody have the answer? How could you sell more than you own? There's a delay, so I'm going to wait. Anybody? Anybody have the answer? You got it, Michael. No, not options, shorting, right? Because if you're selling more than you own, then you put yourself negative, and that's going to put you into a short position. So right here, okay, so Sanders Capital looks like they went short Apple as of September 30th. I don't know if they have closed it out. I've got to do more research as to the 13D and G filings, but it's pretty cool to see that we have the ability to just search these filings. I got curious. So back to the market. I just wanted to show you guys that little tip that I just discovered as well. And let's look at, so with the SPY, right? We're coming on our daily chart over here. We've broken down below 2 days ago that anchored VWAP price. The volume is dropping, the price is dropping. And let's see if we're able to drop below yesterday's open. So yesterday's open was 355.60. Let's do an alert of dropping down. Maybe it's going to happen while we're chatting. Remember, I am on Ticker Talker Live at 1 o'clock. So I do have to run roughly about 12:50. So we've got about 25 minutes. All right, let's look at the Qs, right? The Qs. Looks like we're setting up. However, we have this upward bound that we have not been able to break above. We tested it again today, right over here. No, Mark, they wouldn't dispose the shorts. They would buy to cover their position, like if they were in a negative position, right? There was a hedge fund that went out of business based off Tesla squeezing them to the point where they could no longer cover their capital. So hedge funds are as far as I know, can short as well. Probably like Muddy Waters and Citron, they probably have their own funds that they can short with. Not sure if that's just personal or if that's a, major hedge fund. So here we can see, we have the volume weighted anchored price from November 9th for the Qs, which look at how it's been acting as support. These were other days prior to, so the pop-ups here. Let's add and see what is the most recent one that we have. Are we above yesterday's? Yes, we're above yesterday's. How about here? Above that. Okay. Above that. Pretty much above all the volumes. So if we, with the Qs, potentially, we might be seeing this surge again based on the fact that we will be going into another lockdown, right? This sector might be hot again, had a bit of a pullback. Hola, Guillermo. So this might end up surging higher, seeing that we're above all the volume. However, we have descending volume. We're butting up against a trend line. Many times that will signify a reversal is coming. You guys see it, the descending volume over here? Where was the biggest volume? At that super high spike above. Now, let's look at the IWM. Barron's cover. Hey, those small caps are the way to go. They are going to be the new bull. Well, maybe that was them saying we might be transitioning some money over, right? Who knows? This was Monday and Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this is our little island trading up here. We almost have a diamond. Is there even a diamond that we can draw? Hold on. For shapes. No. Rotated rectangle? Maybe. Let's see. No, I want it from this day though. There we go. Maybe. Right? Maybe we've got the little diamond shape in there. And if we can break below, we'll break down. Hi, Christy. Thanks for joining me. All right. So if we break down this edge right here, there's a good chance that we could see this pull back as well to the downside. We have the gap from here, from 174.95 back down to 174.30 over here. It seemed to fill it a little bit on Tuesday. Maybe we will have more momentum and drop to the downside. Let's look at it on the weekly chart as well and see. All right, so weekly chart, we have a doji setting up right at the upper bound up here. This was a trend line set back in January and February. Hello, IQ Micro from Toronto. How's the weather there? It's a little cold here today. And maybe it will come all the way back down here. Seems as if once we broke out, let's draw a little mini trend line right here too, from this area here. So maybe we'll bounce down to 167.47. There might be a pullback next week. Historically, with the week before, Thanksgiving, it tends to be a bullish week in general when we look at the indexes. So where's index? Commodity, currency, equity, benchmarks, broad market. There we go. That's what I want. I'll look at it, BDD. We'll check it out for you. So small cap 600. Been doing a lot of research thanks to my CMT course. The exam is coming up 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today. So I've been busting through that 600-page textbook, right? So in general, we tend to, maybe it looks like we pull back. But really that last week, this is the last week going into the beginning of December, it tends to scream higher. I find that many shorts, many people are liquidating positions, they wait, and then it surges higher into the week, when everybody's off, then it tends to be a bit higher for whatever reason, I've also noticed going into Thanksgiving that always happens. So S&P looks like we might be breaking out according to that chart. So are we really following that? Let's look over here on the weekly chart too. So we did definitely have a pullback. Would watch, we have a bit of a steep trend line. I'm going to pull this back over here and take this right here. It's become a bit steeper, and maybe if we close out and we break above this volume here, 357, if we close above 358, there's a good chance that we could open up higher next week, looking at it like that. However, not so sure, because it's also seeming to be a bit of a rounded top right here on the shorter time frame, 45 minutes, right? Let's pull this over to the daily on the left. Oops, all right, I did on the right. So if we sort of discount out this massive candle, we have a bit of a rounded top. Will it continue to the downside? We would have to, again, come down and test this area. That's where all the volume, right here, the 21 EMA, that's really what I'm looking for. And of course, you guys know I love my 425 on the 45-minute chart. So where is that for us, right? That's down here at 351.22. So that would be more my bear hat point at which I would be ready to get out of long positions and really hedge. But starting to see maybe, all right, it doesn't want to delete. So let's look at Solo. Solo screaming higher. Had it on my list today at 1050. If it breaks above, you can see good reason why, right? Yesterday it peaked at 1043, so I said, hey, 1050, yes. Came all the way down to the support, and you guys see it bounced pretty much off of that 21 EMA on the 45-minute, and then it shot higher. High volume, selling wick at the top here. Bit of a selling motion right now on it. Will this 1050 hold? That would be, if I were personally entering right at this moment, I would look at this as my support level. If that fails, down she goes likely. Also, we had Blink on my list this morning. Amazing. Blink is lower float. So know that low floats tend to run, and when they move and there's volume and demand behind it, it will scream higher. So more than one time the float has traded today. It's a 25 million. Let's put it on the daily flight. Daily over here. So it is a 25 million share float for Blink. And now likely 25 will be a potential resistance, that nice round number. We have 24 and then 25. So in my opinion, if I was in this, I would get out a little bit early, maybe 24.74. Give up those extra 26 cents to lock in the profit rather than having it scream down against you, right? Nice, ASIF, congrats. PLTR had that upward motion. Nope, it could not hold it today. Looks like everybody jumped on the other newer low floats that are moving. PLTR is not low float though. However, it seems to be coming back down. Potentially to come back down here to 1804 and then bounce again, find some power. However, we have seen that the volume is dropping off. That's not a good indication that there's still buying power behind it. XPEV, again, squeezing those shorts, took out the new high. Volume was dropping and then it bounced and volume is picking up. So it's squeezing those shorts at the moment. Potentially some shorts are in this looking for it to implode further, coming back down. Might come back down to 47.26, a bit overextended from this trend line right here. Actually, I moved it earlier and it didn't hold. Whoops. Let's go here. It's even a bit more extended because it's holding on to this trend line here. So might come back down to 44. However, this one tends to squeeze those shorts fairly quickly. We already went over Solo. Fire Eye was also on the long list today, and it just dropped like a rock, right? Had an amazing spike up, pulled back, broke below $16. I said, hey, if we hit $16, potential short there. It did. We have some volume coming into it, and potential, it filled the gap down here to this candle and a little bit lower. Will this continue to the downside? Right now it looks like it's bouncing off of that 50 simple moving average. Would look maybe for a potential reversal up here again at 1550 in my opinion. All right, CCL, they were doing another offering of their shares. Coming down, bouncing off of this moving average down here, has 2 buying wicks. Will it be able to overtake 1760 for a continued move to the upside? Again, we have a bit of an island trading for this week. Let's look at it on the, whoops, I did it again. Let's look at it on the weekly over here on the left. So we have a doji to the downside. It's broken down from this upward trend on the shorter time frame. Potential to come back down to this 1631 over here. So potential short down to $1.30. We have massive volume last week. Last time we had that was way back over here, back in April when it surged higher. So keeping all of that in mind, and this was it found support back at the resistance level over here of roughly $15. So keeping all that on watch. Big volume means pay attention, watch it, right? GSX today had earnings, I believe. Yeah, earnings was today. Gapped down, had a gap down, a bounce back up to this level, which I said if we drop below 59.50, potential short, nice short down to 53.75, so $6.25 to the downside. Tesla as well pulling back today. We had a big surge. Oh, let's do it daily over here. So we had a big surge up, right? 2 big days, and now a little bit of consolidation. Completely normal. It didn't break above the 505 number. That 500 is a big resistance in people's brains, and look at how quickly it sold off in the time that it came up, right? Now we have some buying power coming in, keeping it above 492. I would watch this 491.60. I'd watch the 491.60 area, see if this closes below. If it does, potential for next week a move to the downside, potentially to this yellow trend line 464 area, and then we'll bounce up. You can see that was from the tops over here, right? Actually right here and right here on pre-market 24-hour candles. Oops, I keep doing that. Sorry about that, guys. So you can see right here, set it up top here and top here. And that might be the area that we will see on to act as a support level. Apple, again, really watching Apple right now. We have a bit of a rounded top as well, which makes sense because Apple is so much of the SPY and the Qs. And actually, Apple and Microsoft are roughly 23% of the Qs in their weight. So they might change that and adjust their positions on it. When we look at Microsoft as well, Microsoft, I believe, is looking a bit weaker than Apple. Yeah, Apple had the bounce and it came up here, whereas Microsoft has a bit of an H setup too on the daily chart right here, where it looks like it's setting up potentially if it breaks down below. I didn't map this one out today for a trade of where potentially to go, but it looks like if we break below that 210, right, technically that this is going to come back down, potentially test 207.50, maybe even further down to that 200 level. All right, Boeing, got a friend in Boeing. So not in the airline or in the position of working there, but in the stock. Thanks, Christy. So Boeing coming up. Where's the big volume this day? What happened? We sold off. Now we have a bit more selling pressure. If we happen to close below the low of this day, 199, likely don't want to enter her. If we break below the volume on this candle, I would be prepared to see Boeing pull back down to test the highs over here, 190, 150. And that might also really affect Dow Jones, because this is in the Dow Jones. Now remember, there's only 30 stocks in the Dow Jones. So when we have one that is moving, that is roughly 6% weight of the Dow Jones. And look at how it is pulling back today. We also have Boeing pulling back down 1.5% today. All right, you guys want to, let's look at BDD. And is there any other ones that you guys want to look at? Go ahead and shout them out and we will check it out. We'll look at NICS as well. Let me check the chat and see if there's anything there that you guys might want to look at. Nope. All right, I'll go ahead and start with these. And then if there's anything else, oops, it didn't like it for some reason. Well, it's okay, I'll type it over here. BYDDF maybe? FCX? Okay. You know what, Desert Edge? I am not good at trading live and having a chat going. I will watch the chat and pay attention to the people more than I will pay attention to my trade. I know that about myself, and so that's why I do not do that. Because I'm better when I'm focused solely on one thing. I tried to do that and was no bueno for me. All right, so BDDF, obviously a foreign stock, OTC, motor vehicles. I have no idea if this is electronics or electric vehicles. I see that the volume peaked, right? And it came, that peak was right here. So watching, I would really watch to see if it will break above 24.38. And it did come down and break down below, not really high volume, but the next highest volume we have looks to be, we're above that right now. So this candlestick could be very telling as to if this closes up super high, then we have a bit of a W formation, right? We'll have this where it would have a W formation, which will typically lead to a new move, and then it would potentially test up at 26. Now it might reject up at 26. If this fails right here, that's also a potential as well. So I would look for it. It looks as if it's bouncing, but it's a foreign stock, OTC. I don't like to trade these because they have big gaps in the day, much like Samsung and Nintendo. If I were to look to get into this, it's really tough because of gaps, but I would say this whole dollar, roughly 23. On the 45-minute chart, I would like for it to come back down here to this 23.11. You see that 21 EMA? I would use that as my potential on the 45-minute. You can see, though, it likes to ride this one. Pretty much, it likes to ride this green one right here, so it might even pull all the way back to 22.36. If you want to look on the daily, I would say 21.91 over here. All right. Let's look at FCX. All right, so FCX, screaming higher. Now FCX is gold and copper. Think about it. What do people need for batteries for electric cars? Well, they need some copper in there, right? For the coils that they put into the battery acid, and lithium too. So lithium and copper and nickel. Nickel-cadmium batteries. You always hear about those too. All right, so I would say let's keep it on watch. See if we break above 2160. And I would also watch 2116 area. You see how strong that was? It kept testing, 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 testing. Ah, look, we broke out. We have a bit of a cup and handle here too, right? Cup. This is shorter time frame. And then handle. So if we measure it on that shorter time frame, did we already hit our target? I'd say the low here to 59 cents. Up a little further actually. I'll say 62 cents. And then it finally broke out here. Have we made the 62 cents? Yes. So that 62 cent target, look at that. It's pretty much right at 21.63. It's awesome how these things work out. And so next setup, have to wait and see. It's also in a bit of an Elliott wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5 up here. Maybe it will break above 2160, and then we'll see an ABCD on the way down, looking at that just on a 45-minute chart. All right. Oh, really, Christy? I know that when I was in Philadelphia, during all of when I was in real estate there, and I was a real estate agent as well as a mortgage loan officer, that when I was showing homes, a lot of homes that had the copper pipes stolen. So they were going to PVC, much cheaper at that time. Of course, the state of the economy was pretty bad, and copper also rose, which is something to consider it's something to consider when we're going into a potential economic turmoil where they'll be turning to those commodities, gold and silver. When we look back at 2008, 2009, all of the commodities dropped about 30%, and then they screamed 300% higher. So keeping all of that in mind, if we see a big downturn in the market, now we just have the Q's green on the day, and IWM is flat over here. Just so watching that. So keep an eye on the indexes definitely today. See where they end up at the end of the day. It might be really telling as to where we go for next week. Ah, nice, Christy. Very awesome. So I'm going to wrap it up for today, guys. I will be live on Ticker Talker at 1 o'clock. If you all ever have any questions, please feel free to email me at jane@cjanetrade.com. If you all want to learn more about the dark pools, come on over and check us out at thedarkpools.com. Christy is a member over there, and I'm sure she will scream the praises of learning about the dark pools and being part of the group over there and part of the trading community. So have an amazing weekend. I will see you all on Sunday, 1:30 Eastern for my live stream. So stay tuned. Be safe, guys. Have a good weekend. Carpe profit and seize those profits one trade at a time.